Good evening. Welcome to It's Not Your Fault. I'm your host, Jeff. I do appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. I'm a little under the weather, so bear with me. Please excuse my lack of enthusiasm or my vigor. I am trying to bear with this upper respiratory infection I have, but I did wanted to make sure I uploaded something this week. And for the people that have been tuning in regularly, I do appreciate it very, very much. If you could, during the course of this this video tonight, if you could take the time to like and subscribe, like down here somewhere, and then subscribe and leave a comment also. I've been reading the comments and they've been absolutely wonderful to read. Very encouraging hearing from some old friends, making new friends. It's been absolutely wonderful. This channel has been just as therapeutic for me as it has been for people that have been tuning in. So I do appreciate it. Uh, but someone had asked also earlier, what are my qualifications? Well, that's a very good question. I did mention in my earlier videos that I was a group representative for my local Al-ANON chapter here. But let's get down to basics. I am a card carrying member of the Enablers Hall of Fame, and I've done it all. I've seen it all. I'm an enabler. I'm a codependent. I've everything I've talked about on these videos. Unfortunately, I've been through, and maybe during these videos, I can maybe pass on some of the information, some knowledge that would prevent people from going down the same paths I mistakenly went down, also, and maybe avoid the pitfalls and sand traps and quicksand that I went through. That's all these videos are for. But that's my qualifications. My qualifications are that I'm somebody that's has lived with. Um, and has been guilty of enabling and being codependent for a very, very long time. So I kind of know what I'm talking about as far as that goes. But no, I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't have a degree in higher education as far as that goes. I don't play a therapist on television, and I don't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, which I say it all the time. It's kind of funny, but as my qualifications are, is I've lived through it. Tonight we're going to talk a little about step five, probably my favorite step to talk about. And step five, for those who aren't familiar with it, I'll read it off. Step five is admitting to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. And again, what we're trying to do is not just to be honest with ourselves and other people, but honest with our higher power as well. So, exact nature of our wrongs. Um, Also, if you have any questions coming back after you look at these channels and you have any questions as far as needs to the extrapolation on something I may have talked about, I highly suggest you pick up. You've heard of the Physician's Desk Reference Book. Well, this is the Enabler's Desk Reference Book. It's called One Day at a Time. Pick this book up. Everything I talk about is in here. Every enabler, every codependent, every answer for all their issues, all of their problems, all their questions is in this book. Pick it up. It's definitely worth it. Um, but again, it's if you want to get better, any tool that can help you get better, and whatever that tool is, try and get to it. So, like I said, I'm a little under the weather tonight, so I'm kind of fighting through this. I'm on my third Dayquil, and I popped a Bang energy drink. So we're gonna go at it. Step five: admitting to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Why is it so hard for us human beings to admit our failures and flaws to other people? We have this propensity to try and look like we have it all together. We have it all together. We have it all figured out. And you never want to go ahead and go to another person and tell them, I'm failing. I'm falling down on my face. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the heck's going on. I can't fix this problem. No one ever wants to show signs of weakness like that. Of course not, especially as an adult, especially as a parent. You never want to go ahead and send out the signals that you don't have what it takes to get through life. Listen, admitting you have a problem, admitting you have faults or flaws or that you're making mistakes doesn't make you a flawed person or a bad person. It makes you a human being. So keep that in mind. It's not just admitting to ourselves, admitting to another human being. Why do we have to admit it to God? Well, again, if we're going to have a relationship with our higher power, which we talked about in earlier videos, if you're going to have that relationship with your higher power, it should be an open an honest relationship. That means it's going to sound crazy, but you really can't hide anything from your higher power. You can't hide anything from God. He already knows what's going on. But admitting to God, having an open conversation, admitting your flaws, having that conversation with your higher power and telling him, this is what I did. I wish I hadn't done it. Can you help me get through it? What should I do differently? And then shut your mouth and listen for his answer. That's the biggest problem we have as enablers and codependents is we have it all figured out. And we're so patient about the answer that if we don't get the answer in the first 10 seconds, we do whatever we're going to do anyway. So admitting to your higher power, your issues and your problems is having that conversation, having that open conversation with your higher power about your issues. Um, um, what are your wrongs? The nature of your wrongs. Okay, are the nature of your wrongs selfish? Are the nature of your wrongs um, uh, do you hold these wrongs because you keep on doing these same things over and over again because you're trying to uh, make the situation better for them, or you're trying to make the situation better for yourself? And that's a trap we all fall into many times. Is we don't want to let anyone outside our fishbowl realize that we've got issues, we have problems. You come to work, how was your weekend? Fine, no problems. Fantastic. How was your weekend? Well, of course you're going to say that. You're not going to say, I had to bail my loved one out of jail this weekend. They got a DUI, they overdosed, had to put them in rehab. That's not what we want to say. They probably don't want to hear it either. So we have to get into a habit, if we're really going to truly work these steps properly, of of opening up a dialogue with ourselves, being honest with ourselves. It's a cliche, but if you're not honest with yourself, what's the point? Open up a dialogue with ourselves, with our higher power, and with someone else. Why the someone else? Um, Again, I never like to get dogmatic in these conversations, but I'm a Roman Catholic, and we have this thing called confession. And a lot of times, my friends will say, "Well, you don't have to go to confession. God knows what you did wrong." Well, yeah, of course He does. But the reason why we tell our sins to a priest is because to have to speak to somebody face to face and tell them the things you've done wrong, it's harder to do that than it is to tell God the things you've done wrong. God knows what you did wrong. But telling somebody else the situation, or telling somebody else what your wrongs are, is a little bit more. It's a little bit more surface. It's a little bit more real. A little bit more cutting, because it's surreal. It's happening right then and there. So uh, if you work the steps properly, have your conversation with God, have your conversation with yourself, and take notes. I'm very good at um, I'll think of things in the car, at home, cutting the grass, and I'm like, oh, that would be great to talk about that in my next conversation with my subscribers. And then 10 seconds later, it's gone because my brain's like a open steel trap now. It doesn't the springs aren't as quite as tight as they used to be, and things go in and out of my head pretty fast. So write stuff down and take notes, and write yourself notes, and write your notes down and say, what are my wrongs? What are the exact nature of my wrongs? Again, are the things I'm doing for my loved one, again, are they for me? And in most cases, are being honest with ourselves, the things that we do for our loved one who's battling addiction or alcoholism is for us, to make ourselves look virtuous, pious, uh, have a better understanding of of look how my life is all worked out perfectly. The last thing you'd ever want to do is go to a fram reunion or a high school reunion and say, "How's your family doing?" "Oh, it's a train wreck. I got all kinds of issues." You can see how fast you can find yourself all alone. Because most people that say, "Hey, how you doing?" they don't care. They don't really care what's inside going inside. They're just being polite. Okay. So have this conversation with yourself, with your higher power, and with somebody you know and love and trust about your wrongs. And again, that could be a sponsor, it could be a spouse, brother, sister, sibling, somebody who can acknowledge the tumult in your life. They see it. They kind of figured that something was going on anyway. A trusted friend, an advisor, priest, reverend, um, whatever it is. You have to unburden yourself, not just to yourself and to your higher power, but unburden yourself to another human being. Not looking for answers all the time. We also have a habit of we don't just listen, we try and fix the issue. Um, People will stop coming to you all the time to tell you what's going on in their life if you immediately try and fix the problem. Sometimes people just want to be heard. Just the act of telling the issue, just getting it out of your being, getting it out of your system and saying it, that might be cathartic enough. That may be the healing all you needed. Okay. Don't always feel like if somebody tells you their problem that you have to put on pick up that cross again and I'm gonna go ahead and fix it. No. A lot of times people tell you their problems not because they're trying to get it fixed, it's because they just want to have it out there. A lot of times we carry all these burdens around with us all the time, and just unloading it out of ourselves is so freeing to where you can feel like you can get through the next day. Does that make sense? Again, I'm asking you like you can listen to me. Okay. I know it makes sense to you. I know it makes sense to you and you. No, put your hand down. We're not taking questions right now. Just sit down. You can text me something or email me. Don't put your hand. So moving forward, step 5, take the time to sit down with yourself, have a conversation with yourself and the nature of your wrongs, the exact nature of your wrongs. And listen, we know, God knows the exact nature of your wrongs. Don't cut corners. Don't try and brush it over and gloss it over. Don't candy coat anything. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your higher power, and by all means, be honest with another person that you trust enough to tell your issues with. Again, pick somebody that's not necessarily going to try and fix you, okay, but somebody who just wants to be there for you. When I was in the service, bang break. When I was in the service, one of the jobs that the new people on board would have to do was grounding duty. What's grounding duty? Whenever the smaller ships like I was on would get mail or supplies, it'd be brought in on a helicopter. Well, the ship was too small for the helicopter to land on it, so they would lower them down in a basket or a big net and on a steel cable. Well, the static electricity being put out by the helicopter's rotor blades charges anything um, it would light up Las Vegas. The static electricity being put out by those rotor blades. So if you weren't careful and you tried to grab the cargo before you grounded out the cable, you electrocute yourself and you'd be killed just like that. So one of the duties was somebody who had a walk out to the flight deck with a long rod called a grounding rod, and it was affixed to a ground part of the ship, and you had to touch the cable or touch the cargo net so that all that static electricity would run out into you would ground it so it would be safe to handle the cargo. We have this ability to talk to somebody, a human being, and ground ourselves and just be able to go on with our day, go on with our life, get it out of ourselves, move it out, and go on. So take the opportunity to find somebody. Again, it could be a sponsor, it could be another co-member of your group, of your recovery group. Just find somebody that you want to share with, and keep in mind also is if you find somebody in your group, that's easy because there's no one in there that has any assumptions as far as there's no one better than you in that group. Trust me, we're all going through the same garbage. If you trust somebody enough outside of your group, a neighbor, a family friend, a relative that's not going to your recovery groups or not, fortunately, maybe not they're not going through a situation like you are. Uh, Find somebody like that and talk to them about it. Also, that may be the most freeing thing you can do because it just you unburden yourself of this of this boulder you've been carrying around. Okay, not looking for resolution, but just looking for freeingness, just letting it go. Um, so uh, if you truly have made the decision that you want to get better, you made a decision that you want to try and find serenity. And serenity, unfortunately, will not just find you. You have to seek it. That's why they say it's seeking serenity. You have to try and find serenity. If you truly are trying to seek serenity, don't half-ass it. Okay. If you're gonna go for it, go for it. You can't fight this battle alone. You can't. Okay. So if you take the steps, if you take advantage of all the tools in your bag, meetings, readings, prayer, meditation, sponsors, becoming a sponsor, by all means, pick up some books, read them, take them in, go through the steps. And if you're going through the steps, like I said, don't half-ass them. Give them your all. Give them your all. Listen, you're here for a reason. You're on this channel because you've tried it your way. You've tried everything else. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? This channel is free. I don't charge for this information, this advice, this help. I just don't want to see people go on the same path I went down because it's a dark, lonely, powerless feeling. It's an empty feeling to feel like you have no other place to turn, that you're all alone in this whole thing. You're not. You're not alone. There's help all around you. Just ask for it. I want to take a quick break right now. I'm trying to cut my videos down a lot. That's why I went right into the conversation tonight. Take a quick break and have a word from our new sponsor. No, just us still. Okay, yeah, no sponsor yet. So just us, just me and you talking. Please come back. Please come back. Tell somebody about this channel. Um, the channel has grown in the few short weeks I've done this to I think we're up to 40 subscribers. I I'm shocked. I couldn't believe one person was subscribed to my channel because I don't think I'm all that interesting. But maybe somebody's getting something out of this, and if that's the case, God bless you. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Um, please say a prayer for the prayerless. Please say a prayer for the people that no one talks about, no one prays about, forgotten ones. Say a prayer for those people because they need it too. By all means, tune in next week. Tell somebody about this channel. Like, subscribe, the whole bell, the whole thing like that, if you could please, and let somebody know about this channel. Because again, if if I can stop one person from going down the paths that I went through, thinking that somehow I was the only person who could fix the issue, it's all been worth it. Um, I'm gonna go out and get some sleep. I'm not feeling too great. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in, and by all means, keep coming back because it works if you work it. All right. Good evening. God bless.